Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Let's learn how to crochet this stitch baby rattle, which is a perfect gift for a new mom that's also connected with her inner child. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Lala and I'm a crochet designer. I make crochet tutorials for everything crochet related, amigurumi, wearables, whatever you can think of. Please subscribe to my channel so I can upload more crochet videos like this one. We're going to start by working a magic ring, so grab your medium color blue and make a magic ring. If you're not sure how to make a magic ring, I did make a slow and detailed tutorial. I'll link it up on screen right now. Or you can even choose any other magic ring equivalent that you like. Then we're going to start by working 6 single crochets into the magic ring. To work a single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, into the ring, and when you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over into both loops. And this is our first single crochet. You can mark it with a stitch marker to not confuse it when we're going to join the round. Then we're gonna work 5 more single crochets into the ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in total. Should have something like this. Then you're going to pull the magic ring strand to close the ring. Then we're going to take out the stitch marker we put in the first stitch of the round. Remember where it was. And insert your hook into the first stitch of the round. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, 2 from the single crochet and the one on the hook. Yarn over into the first 2 loops. And then when you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to grab the left one into the right one using the hook's head. Like this. And this is called a slip stitch. We've joined the round. Now we're going to chain 1 and start round 2. In round 2, we're going to increase each stitch of the previous round, meaning we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of the 6 stitches. And don't mistake this slip stitch for a stitch. Make sure you only have 12 stitches at the end of the round. So we're going to insert our hook into the same stitch we just slip stitched into, the first stitch of the round, yarn over and yarn over, pull through 2 to work the first single crochet of the round, and mark it with a stitch marker if you feel like it. And into that same stitch, that same hole that we just worked into, we're going to work another single crochet. And this is an increase. I'm going to move over to the next stitch and work an increase in it as well. 1 and 2. Move to the next stitch and do the same thing in each of the next stitches. At the end of this round, you're supposed to have 12 stitches in total. Oops. You're going to have this little gap here from the slip stitch. Don't single crochet into it. We're going to take out the stitch marker and slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. Then chain 1 and let's start round number 3. To start round 3, we're going to work 1 single crochet into the first stitch of the round, the stitch that we just slip stitched into. So insert your hook and yarn over into the loop and single crochet. Mark it with a stitch marker. You don't have to, but it's a good thing to do. And then in the next stitch, we're going to work an increase. So insert your hook into the next stitch yarn over into the stitch, yarn over into 2 loops, and into that same stitch we're going to insert our hook again and work another single crochet. Move over to the next stitch and work 1 single crochet, and into the next stitch and increase. And this is the pattern that we're going to repeat: 1 single crochet followed by an increase, 1 single crochet followed by an increase, all the way to the end of the round. I'm going to work my round off camera, and I'll see you back again when we hit that last stitch. Let's make the last increase. I'm in that last stitch of round 3. Take out the stitch marker if you used one. If you don't feel the need to use a stitch marker, you don't have to. Then you're going to insert your hook into that first stitch of the round, yarn over into the stitch. When you have 2 loops on your hook, grab the left one into the right one to form a slip stitch. Then we're going to yarn over to chain 1 and close the round. And we're going to start round 4 by working the first single crochet into the first stitch of the round, the one we just slip stitched into. Might be a little challenging, but just push the hook hard enough. 1 single crochet, move over to the next stitch and work another single crochet. And then in the next stitch you're going to work an increase. 1, and into that same stitch another single crochet to work an increase. So this is the pattern that we're going to repeat for round 4. 1, 2 single crochets followed by an increase. Let's do that one more time. 1, next stitch 2, next stitch, increase. And we're going to continue working this pattern all the way to the end of the round. I'm going to work again my round off camera, and I'll see you back again at the end of the round. And into that last stitch we're going to work an increase. Don't forget that this one is the slip stitch. It doesn't count as a stitch. We don't work any stitch into it. We're going to skip it and insert our hook into the first stitch of the round as usual. Yarn over, slip stitch, and chain 1. At the end of this round you're supposed to have 24 stitches in total. To start round 5, we're going to work an increase in the first stitch of the round. So insert your hook, work 1 single crochet, and into that same stitch another single crochet, and increase as the first stitch. Then work 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And into that next stitch you're going to work an increase. 1, and into the same stitch you just worked a single crochet into, and increase. And into the next 3 stitches, 1 single crochet in each stitch. 1, 2, next stitch, 3. And we're going to repeat this pattern until the end of the round. 1 increase followed by 3 single crochets. So let's do that again. Increase and 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. I'm going to repeat that and complete my round off camera. I'll see you back again at the end of the round. Let's work those last stitches, actually 3, and join the round by a slip stitch into the first single crochet and chain 1 as we did before. For round 6, we're going to work a round of single crochet in a round, meaning one single crochet in each stitch, no increasing, just one single crochet on top of each single crochet from the previous round. And since we're not increasing, you're supposed to have 30 stitches at the end of this round as well. When you're done with round 6 and you have 30 stitches around, count your stitches, make sure your counting is right. You're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round and join the round, chain 1. Next, from round 7 until round 10, we're going to repeat round 6. Simply work one single crochet in each stitch. So let's work our round, one single crochet in each stitch, 30 stitches in each round, and I'll see you back again at the end of round 10. Alright, now that we've completed our 5 rows of single crochet in a round, we're supposed to have this in our hand. Let's join the round by slip stitching into the first single crochet of the round and chain 1. Next, we're going to single crochet 8 in the next 8 stitches. So first single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th single crochet we're not going to finish. We're going to insert our hook, yarn over into the stitch and leave it like this with the 2 loops on. Put it on your desk for a second. You're going to take your light blue yarn and work a slip knot in any way you like. If you're not sure how to make a slip knot, I'll link a tutorial of 3 different ways now on screen. Take the loop you made with the slip knot and wrap it around the hook and pull it inside those 2 medium blue loops. From now on, we're going to work with this light blue yarn for the next 14 stitches. But we're not going to insert our hook into the regular stitch, we're going to work into the back loops only. If you're not sure which one is which, the front loop is the one closer to you and the back loop is the one further ahead. We're going to insert our hook between the 2 loops, like this. Yarn over into that one medium blue loop. When you have 2 light blue loops on your hook, yarn over into both of them. And let's do that again into the next 13 stitches. Into the back loop, yarn over into the loop, yarn over into the 2 loops. You can take the tails with you for more security. When you finished working 13 stitches in the light blue, we're not going to finish the last one, the 14th one, with the light blue color. We're going to use the medium blue color to finish it. In the 14th stitch, we're going to change color. So insert your hook into the back loop, yarn over into the loop, but don't yarn over yet. Drop the light blue yarn and grab the medium blue yarn, the one we just switched from. Yarn over with the medium blue yarn into those 2 light blue loops. And now the medium blue is the active yarn. We're going to finish the round with the medium blue only. We're going to continue working single crochets all the way to the end of the round, but not into the back loop. That's not necessary anymore. We're just going to put the hook under the 2 loops. And take the light blue yarn with you. Carry the yarn like this, because we need the light blue yarn for the next round with us. So just put it over the hook like this, all the way to the end of the round. When you got to the end of the round, slip stitch into the first stitch of the round, insert your hook, yarn over, into the loop, grab the left one into the right one, and chain 1 to join the round. We're going to start round 12, and in round 12 we're going to start decreasing the head and also change colors while we're doing it, so pay close attention and don't forget to carry the light blue yarn with you as you go because we're going to need it to this area. We're going to start by working 3 single crochets in the first 3 stitches of the round. Don't forget to carry the yarn with you. 1, 2, carrying the yarn behind, and 3. And next we're going to work either a decrease or an invisible decrease. It doesn't matter as long as you work a decrease. I like to work an invisible decrease, so I'm going to insert my hook into the front loop only of the next stitch, the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over into 2 left loops, and when you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over into both of them. And this was an invisible decrease. Next we're going to work 2 more single crochets, 1 and 2. Don't forget to carry the yarn. And we're going to start working the next single crochet, but we're not going to finish it. Insert your hook, yarn over into the loop, and when you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to switch colors to the light blue yarn. Grab the light blue yarn into the 2 loops, and we've changed color. Next we're going to work an invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches, so front loop, yarn over into the left 2 loops, and yarn over into the remaining 2 loops. Next we're going to work 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches, and don't forget to carry the medium blue yarn with you. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to work an invisible decrease again. So front loop, yarn over into left 2 loops. And when you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over into both of them. And now work 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. Don't forget to carry the medium blue yarn with you. 1, 2, and 3. Next we're going to work an invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches, so front loop, yarn over into the 2 loops, yarn over into the 2 loops again. Next we're going to start working a single crochet, but we're not going to finish it. Insert your hook, yarn over into the loop, and when you have 2 loops on your hook, drop the light blue yarn, grab back the medium blue yarn, and finish the single crochet with the medium blue yarn. And we're going to continue working with the medium blue yarn. Work 1 single crochet in the next stitch, move to the next stitch and work another single crochet, and then work an invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches. Front loop, yarn over into the loops. And now what we got left is 5 stitches. We're going to work 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches and an invisible decrease in the last one. And don't forget to carry the light blue yarn with you again. 1, 2, 3, and invisible decrease. Now we're going to join the round, slip stitching into the first single crochet of the round, and chain 1. And this was round 12. We're supposed to have 24 stitches at the end of this round. What we're going to do next is take out the hook and secure the last loop with a stitch marker, because now we're going to fill in the head with the rattle toy and also with some stuffing material. First we're going to grab some stuffing material and very lightly fill in the head, not too much because we're gonna put the rattle toy inside. Now, if you have a rattle toy specifically for this purpose, you can insert it now. If you don't, you can have a Kinder Surprise egg yolk. That's where I took this from. It's a great solution if you don't have a rattle toy or you don't have time to order one. And I'm going to fill it with some beads that I have here. Anything that will make it rattle. Now we're gonna put it inside and start stuffing around the yolk. The yolk, the rattle toy. It's easier to call it a yolk. When our head is stuffed enough and the rattle is sitting nicely in the middle, we're going to continue. Take out the stitch marker. Again, don't forget to take the light blue yarn with you to carry it. We're going to start by working a decrease in the next 2 stitches. So front loop, and yarn over into the loop, and then work 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. In the next 2 stitches, we're going to work a decrease. So front loop, and yarn over into 2 loops, and yarn over into 2 loops, and then work 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Carry the yarn with you. And in the next stitch, we're going to change colors. So start the single crochet, but don't finish it. When you have 2 loops on your hook, switch to the light blue yarn. Next, we're going to work an invisible decrease in the next 2 light blue stitches. So front loop, yarn over, and work 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. At the end of this round, you're supposed to have 18 stitches. We're going to repeat that again, an invisible decrease followed by 2 single crochets. Don't finish the last single crochet in light blue. We're going to drop the light blue and then switch back to the medium blue, and then work an invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches. This is the first one. Next, work 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. And at this point, you don't have to carry the yarn, the light blue yarn anymore. We're just going to use the medium blue yarn from now on. And in the last 4 stitches, we're going to work an invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches. And last 2 stitches get 1 single crochet each. 1 and 2. Make sure that the rattle is okay and the shape looks fine. Now we can also cut off the light blue yarn. Slip stitch into the first single crochet of the yarn and chain 1. Next, for round 14, we're going to simply decrease in a round. So insert your hook into the front loop of the first stitch, front loop of the next stitch, yarn over, and work an invisible decrease. I do recommend to put a stitch marker in the first invisible decrease because they tend to disappear, and simply work an invisible decrease in each 2 stitches of the round. At the end of this round, you're supposed to have 9 stitches. Last invisible decrease. Take out the stitch marker, slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. Told you it gets a little bit challenging here. Okay, slip stitch and chain 1. Make sure that the head is stuffed enough. We can just cut off the yarn and leave a long tail for sewing. Bring back the hook and pull it away so the strand is out the loop, and then tighten it up. Our head is done. Let's move on to make the ears. We're going to start with our light pink yarn. Make a slip knot in any way you like. Insert your hook, yarn over and chain 11. 1, 2, 3, and so on. When you have 11 chains, it will look like this. We're going to skip the first chain here and insert our hook into the next stitch after it. Yarn over, into the loop. And when you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over into both of them. And this is our first single crochet. We're going to single crochet 8 more until we reach the last chain. So insert your hook into the next chain. And when we got to the last chain, we're going to increase into that last chain, 1, and into the same chain, another single crochet, 2. Then we're going to turn our work a little bit, 90 degrees, and start working on this side of the chain into that unused loop we didn't put our hook into, and just single crochet all the way to the end of the chain. At the end of this round, you're supposed to have 20 stitches around. Next, we're going to turn our work like this, so the back is facing us. We're going to chain 1. This one doesn't count as a stitch, and start working 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 9, and 10. When we got our 10 stitches here, we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, into the stitch and into the loop, and then chain 1 to fasten off. Grab your scissors and cut off the yarn. No need to leave a long tail for sewing. Pull away the hook and tighten the stitch up. I recommend using a stitch marker to mark this last stitch before the slip stitch. It will be very helpful later. Next, you're going to repeat these steps to get another one, only in the medium blue color. So repeat this process until you have one pink panel and another one exactly the same in medium blue. But don't cut off the yarn when you finish the blue panel. When you have 2 identical panels, one in blue and one in pink, and one is marked with the stitch marker, you're going to put the pink one over the blue one. I'll put back the hook, grab the yarn into your hand, take out the stitch marker, and insert the hook into that stitch that we put the stitch marker into, and also into the corresponding stitch in the blue panel. So you have both stitches on your hook, yarn over into the 2 stitches together, and when you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over into the both of them. And continue working single crochets around into both stitches of the blue panel and the pink panel. Simply insert your hook into both stitches and single crochet them together. When you get to the bottom of the panels, we're simply going to turn it a little bit and just single crochet them together anywhere. It doesn't matter where. This part is not going to be visible anyway. And then turn it to get to the other side of the panel. Insert your hook into the first single crochet of the panel and into the corresponding stitch in the blue one, and continue single crochet them together. My pink yarn is a little bit thicker than the blue one, so that's why the pink is a little bit too big, but eventually it will turn out okay. Don't worry about it if it's the same case with you. Now you can tuck in that strand so it won't get in the way. And when we got to the end of the round, we're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round, yarn over, and chain 1 to close it. Next, we're going to cut off the yarn and leave a long tail for sewing, really long tail. Cut off the yarn and pull away the hook, tighten it up. And what we're going to do next is grab our darning needle, insert the strand into the darning needle, and on the back we're going to pass that strand that we left. We're going to pass the tail we left all the way to the bottom of the ear. Make sure that the blue tail is not visible through the pink panel on front. And when it's pretty much almost at the bottom, we're going to stitch across 3 stitches together like this. So pinch the two sides together to work this ear. So pinch the 2 sides together and sew together 2 or 3 stitches across. Make sure it's sewn right. Now we're done with the ear. We're gonna have to repeat this part to have 2 identical ears. So make another ear and I'll see you back again for the next part. Next, we're gonna work the part that connects the head to the wooden ring. So start with a slip knot with the medium blue yarn. Then we're going to yarn over and chain 21. So this was the first chain. Let's chain 20 more. When you have 21 chains in your foundation chain, it will look like this. Next, we're going to work into the back bumps of the foundation chain. If you tilt it a little bit, you will see little bumps on the back of the chains. We're going to skip the first chain and then insert our hook into the back bump behind the second chain from the hook. You can help with your hands if it helps. Insert your hook and work a single crochet. And do the same to each of the next 19 back bumps, all the way to the end of the foundation chain. Let's work the last back bump, the last single crochet into the back bump. We're supposed to have 20 single crochets in the row. Next, we're going to turn our work so the back is facing us. Insert our hook into the first single crochet of the row and work a single crochet. And again, work single crochet in each of the next stitches, all the way down until we reach the end of the row. When we got to the end of the row, repeat row 2 until you reach row 6. And if you have a bigger wooden ring than what I have, simply add more rows until it closes around the ring. When you finish row 6 and you have this little rectangular thing here, we're going to yarn over and chain 1 and leave a very, very long tail for sewing. I don't take risk with this one. A very long tail. Pull the hook away and tighten the stitch up. What we're going to do next is take the wooden ring. Make sure that the rectangle is closing around the ring like this. It's okay if it's a bit stretching, it's supposed to stretch. For the next part of making the eyes, I'm showing you an option, even though I know for sure there's a lot of better options. This is just my easiest way to do it. I bought a sheet of blue and black felt and then I put it on my screen of the computer. I'm showing you now on screen the template that I used to make the eyes to draw on the felt, but if you have another way, please be free to do so. To make the eyes, you're going to have to make 2 of the blue pieces and then 2 of the black pieces. Then you're going to glue the black pieces on top of the blue pieces. Now, to give our stitch this alien look, we're going to have to put the 2 eyes about 5 stitches apart. So grab your glue and when you like the position, glue it to the head. Now that our eyes are glued down, it's time to use the dark blue to work the nose. So just grab your dark blue yarn. You can either use a double thread or just singular thread. I like to use a double one because it works up quicker. Go from the bottom and work your way to right above the mouth. And then we're just going to work rows of dark blue until we like the, I want to say volume of the nose, because Stitch's nose is pretty bold. And when you like the nose, simply insert the needle back from the bottom. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. Cut off the dark blue yarn. If you want to make it even more secure, make a little knot at the end. And then just tuck it inside. Now we're done with the face details and we're going to work the wooden ring cover. First, we're going to wrap the cover around the wooden ring and use the tail we left for sewing. Grab your darning needle and start connecting each of the single crochets in the last round to the ones in the first round. The way I like to do it is going from the back loop of the further row to the front loop of the row closer to me, and then going from the front loop of the row closer to me to the further row's back loop. It really doesn't matter as long as the cover is closing. Now that we got to the end, take out the darning needle. Don't tuck in the tails yet. We're going to do it at the end. Next, grab your head and we're going to sew it to the center of the ring. So grab your darning needle and the tail of the head and start sewing it to the center of the cover. Once your head is sewed on and secure, what I like to do is first go back to those tails here of the cover and tie them both together to make sure it's secure here. Can even do it twice. And then what you're going to do is to take the longer tail and sew your way all the way to the tail from the head. Not really sewing, more like weaving, to be more exact. Make the two tails meet at the back of the project so the knot is not visible. Then tie both tails together twice if you want to be even more secure. Then we're going to weave each tail to the other direction and cut it off. And then, hallelujah, we're going to cut them off. And now finally we're going to sew on the ears. The point where we're going to start sewing the ears is slightly below the mouth line. I think that here it will be too high, so find your way somewhere here. Use the tail we left for sewing and just use the darning needle to sew the ear to the head. And once you're done with one ear, of course, repeat the process on the other side with the second ear, exactly in the same place. Once you're finished and you have both ears attached, we're going to finally secure the two strands on the back of the head. So just work your way with the strands to the middle of the head or one to another. It doesn't matter as long as they're going to meet. Tie the two strands together and use the darning needle to finally weave them in for good. And then we're done. Are you excited? If you have an extra tail, simply cut it with your scissors. And our stitch rattle is ready, you guys. I really hope you liked the tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment so I know you liked it. I really appreciate your support, so please do whatever you can to make my channel pop even more. If you didn't already, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next video. Bye!